After my account got hacked, the scammer used my profile to message people in my contacts, asking to borrow money. Just minutes later, the A-list celebrity I had been obsessed with for years received a message from me. "Babe, are you there?" And just like that, an invisible thread began to form between me and one of the most famous stars in the American entertainment industry. "Dude, what's going on? Why do you suddenly need $2,000? As soon as I picked up the call, my best friend's worried voice came through the line. "$2,000? Who?" I was stunned. "You messaged me on QQ saying you needed it urgently, then vanished." Panic hit. I scrambled to find the QQ app, which I hadn't opened since forever, probably since the Stone Age. Sure enough, it had been hacked. Terrified someone might have already been tricked, I rushed to recover the account. Verified my phone number, reset the password. Finally, I got in. The app felt both familiar and foreign. My heart pounded as I scrolled through the flood of messages. Thankfully, no one had actually transferred any money yet. I was just about to breathe a sigh of relief when my eyes froze on one name, Babe Two Hearts. Even though I hadn't used QQ in years, I knew exactly who that was. Travis Miller, my high school crush. Now, he's a top-tier movie star, adored by the entire entertainment industry. He just won Best Actor for 3 blockbuster films grossing over $100 million each. His career is on fire. I swallowed hard, trying to calm my racing heart. Gathering every ounce of courage, I clicked on the chat window. It was empty, except for one single message. "Babe, are you there?" My heart nearly stopped. I cursed that damn scammer to the moon and back. Now what? I stared at that one line like it might explode. A few minutes later, despair set in. I could only hope, pray, even, that Travis had completely forgotten about that ancient account. I'd heard that celebrities often clean out their old socials to avoid scandals. And someone as famous as Travis Miller probably hadn't touched QQ in ages, right? Yes, definitely. That had to be it. Just as I was about to convince myself, my best friend called again. "Girl, go check the hot search. Now." I rushed to open it. The app was nearly crashing from the traffic. And right there, splashed all over the trending page. Travis Miller got married? The topic was so viral it almost broke the internet. It took me forever to get into the app, and when I finally did. "Babe, are you there?" Those 4 words were everywhere. Screens filled with the phrase, headlines of every entertainment article spinning off that one accidental message. I stared at my screen, completely stunned. Turns out, when the scammer messaged people using my account, Travis Miller was live-streaming on a popular variety show. During the replay, while completing a mission that involved asking old friends for money, per the show's theme, he logged into his QQ account. The moment his phone screen was mirrored onto the big display, the message, "Babe, are you there?" popped right up at the top of his chat list. That's when I saw the contact name he'd saved me under, 27. 27? Was that my student number? I think mine was 16. Or maybe my math grade? No way, it probably just meant I was the 27th forgettable person in his chat history. To Travis Miller, 27 might as well have been a code for random nobody. But that one silly message, "Babe, are you there?" labeled as 27, blasted across the livestream, igniting instant chaos. Even though the production team quickly cut the phone feed, it was too late. Fans had already screen recorded everything and shared it across every social media platform. Within minutes, hashtags like #Travis Miller got married, #Who's-that-woman, #Babbery out there were all trending at the top of Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. I stared at the hot search bar climbing higher and higher, my face pale and my chest sinking like a rock. I was doomed. I had no idea what to do. It was spiraling way beyond my control. Getting hacked was one thing, but Travis Miller's reputation? His entire future? Everyone knew this could severely damage his public image. It's not like we had any kind of relationship. He probably didn't even remember me. And now, suddenly, we were being branded a married couple online. He must want to rip my heart out by now. While I was drowning in guilt and anxiety, QQ dinged, loud and sharp. My hands shook as I picked up the phone and stared at that humiliating contact name. Babe. Hi babe, are you available to talk? As expected, it wasn't him, but his manager. She wanted to speak with me directly, specifically, to discuss damage control. A face-to-face meeting would be best. After the call, I sent her my home address. Just over an hour later, the doorbell rang, cutting through my panic. I opened the door and bowed my head, mumbling. I'm so sorry. I really am. I got hacked. Someone used my account to message people asking for money. I never imagined it would blow up like this. I'm so sorry for all the trouble it caused. My voice was shaking by the end. My eyes started to sting. Then a warm, gentle voice responded. It's okay. She reached out and softly patted my head. I looked up slowly, and saw a kind, beautiful woman smiling at me. Next to her stood a tall man in a long coat, wearing sunglasses, a mask, and a cap. Even covered up like that, his aura was unmistakable. I froze. Stammered. T. Travis Miller? He nodded lightly. My heart skipped a beat, then pounded like a jackhammer. It felt like it might burst out of my chest. My brain had completely lost control. 2 assistants came with them, making my already cramped living room feel even more suffocating. I sat stiffly on my IKEA couch, feeling like a nail hammered into place. Flustered and panicked, I explained again that I had abandoned that account for so long, giving the hacker a chance to take advantage. I bowed my head deeply. In a serious tone, I said, "This is entirely my fault. Whatever you need me to do, I'll cooperate fully. I just want to help minimize the damage. I'm really, really sorry." Travis's manager, Ms. Lily Lawson, gave a gentle smile and spoke in a calm voice. "Ms. Jane Turner, no need to be so tense. We're here today to hear your thoughts and get your input." Seeing the confusion on my face, she continued. "Would you be willing to pretend to be Mr. Travis Miller's girlfriend for 1 year?" I stared wide-eyed, completely forgetting to manage my expression, even in front of Travis Miller himself. I blinked at him in disbelief, wondering if I'd misheard. Then Ms. Lawson smirked teasingly, her voice full of mischief. "With a contact name like Babe, you must have some feelings for Mr. Miller, right? Why not give real dating a try?" I blushed instantly, my voice barely a whisper. That was a long time ago." Ms. Lawson gave me a knowing look. "Ms. Turner, we hope you'll consider it. We'll offer reasonable compensation. The only requirement is that you keep all of this strictly confidential." My brain completely short-circuited. In fact, everything in my vision started to sparkle, not from glitter, but from the overwhelming shine of dollar signs. I was the one who caused all this trouble for Travis Miller. So why did it suddenly feel like I was being pampered and rewarded? This kind of thing, I wouldn't dare dream of it, even in my wildest fantasies. "We've already prepared the contract," Ms. Lawson said. "If you agree, you can sign it now." She gave a subtle signal, and the assistant next to her immediately pulled out 2 identical contracts and 2 pens. I gulped loudly. Pen in hand, I hesitated. Then, without knowing why, I turned to the man who had been silent this whole time, Travis Miller. "What about you?" I asked. "Do you agree to this?" He slowly removed his sunglasses, revealing those deep, mesmerizing eyes. He was looking straight at me. My heart pounded wildly. Like I was back in that summer long ago, peeking at him from the school hallway. Then he finally spoke, that familiar low and warm voice. "I'd be more than happy to." I quickly flipped to the last page of the contract and signed my name without hesitation. Honestly, I couldn't think of a single reason to refuse. Getting to date my 10-year secret crush, who's now an A-list celebrity in Hollywood? And getting paid for it, too? This was the kind of plot that didn't even happen in dreams. The assistant next to me swiftly recorded my personal details and bank account information. Ms. Lily Lawson pulled out her phone and smiled brightly. Let's add each other as contacts. We're family now, after all. Family? That sounded a little off, but I let it slide. A few minutes later, I had connected with everyone on messaging apps, including Travis Miller. Out of curiosity, I tried to sneak a peek at what contact name he'd saved me under when he added me. Unfortunately, nothing interesting, just plain. Feeling awkward under his gaze, I assigned him the name Travis Miller. Super formal. Super stiff. Totally boring. By the way, Jane, Ms. Lawson spoke up again. About the hacked account, we'll support you in handling that. This is Attorney Carter. If you need anything, just ask him. I quickly waved my hands. No, it's okay. I can take care of it myself. The payment has been transferred, one of the assistants reported politely. All right then, if there's nothing else, we'll take our leave. That was just the initial deposit. You'll continue receiving monthly payments directly to your bank account, Ms. Lawson added with a smile. Looking forward to working with you, sister-in-law. I nearly lost my balance. Looking forward to working with you, ahem, I stammered. Then I shook hands with everyone one by one. They were nearly out the door when Travis Miller suddenly paused, turned back, and looked at me. Jane, he said gently. My heart skipped a beat. He hesitated for a moment, and I quickly stuck my hand out, forcing a smile. Looking forward to working with you. The corners of his eyes crinkled slightly. His warm palm touched mine, and the contact sent a jolt through my entire body. Pleasure to be working with you, classmate Jane, he said in that familiar low voice. Then he turned and left. I closed the door behind them, but my heart was still pounding like crazy. It took a long time for me to calm down and return to my desk to continue handling the hacked account situation. When I picked up my phone again, a notification popped up from my bank. $500,000. My eyes widened. I counted the zeros several times to make sure I wasn't imagining things. Nope. 500,000. Not 50. A new wave of shock hit me like a truck, like my brain was about to crash. What kind of wild destiny is this? This isn't just dream material. It's something even the most cliché romance time travel novels wouldn't dare write. I sat at my desk alone for a long time, trying to calm down enough to get back to resolving the hacking issue. After checking everything thoroughly, thankfully, none of my contacts had actually fallen for the scam. I collapsed onto the couch, letting out a huge sigh of relief. Thank God my friends are all broke. Just as I was about to close my eyes and rest, my phone rang again. It was my best friend, Rachel, calling. Jane. What else have you been hiding from me? Her scream nearly blew out my eardrum. She shouted. Travis Miller just went public with you. I instantly opened Twitter. Usually, Travis's posts were all promotional, but now, pinned at the top of his feed, was a post announcing our relationship. The caption was short and simple. Girlfriend. Very loved. My heart skipped a fake beat. Even though I was the one involved, it still felt like I was watching some adorable couple from afar, like I was fangirling over someone else's love story. Curious, I tapped open the comment section to see how netizens were reacting. Hoova babe, how dare you love someone else behind my back? No way, this is just a PR stunt, right? 27? Does that mean I love my wife? I'm shipping this so hard. Wait, they really made it official? No, I'm heartbroken. I kept scrolling until I saw the top liked comment. I don't care. I only ship Travis Miller with Emily Harris. I closed Twitter, telling myself. It's just a publicity stunt. Chill. Still, I couldn't help but admire how famous Travis Miller was, and how wildly creative the internet had become. Even my best friend was confused. Wait, didn't you get hacked? How did this end up actually happening? I was speechless. All I could do was reassure her. Give me some time, I'll explain later. After a brief silence, her voice dropped into a playful whisper. Okay, I don't know about anything else, but I know Travis Miller secretly likes you. When you're so stunned you don't even know what to say, all you can do is laugh. You're even more delusional than me. I chuckled. But she didn't let it go. Come on, look at the contact name he saved you under. Clearly, he's into you. Apparently, a 2-digit contact label now counted as a secret crush. Thinking back, I started liking Travis Miller in 10th grade, watching him go from high school heartthrob to one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Even back then, I knew we lived in totally different worlds. And now, he was even further out of reach. I sighed deeply, vowing to bury this feeling. Hearing my sigh, my friend said firmly, "Just wait. You'll see." I didn't respond, but deep down, a tiny hope flickered. Love really does make people irrational. The first scene Travis and I staged as a fake couple was in the underground parking garage of his apartment. After he made our relationship public on Twitter, gossip started flooding social media. Entertainment reporters and self-proclaimed analysts began tearing apart the announcement from every angle. To kill the rumors, Ms. Lily Lawson decided we needed real photos, undeniable proof. She'd already tipped off the paparazzi. All we had to do was play the part, a couple in love, accidentally caught in a few affectionate moments. That day, Travis came to pick me up. He wore a black baseball cap, a black t-shirt, and gray joggers. Casual, but effortlessly stylish, his lean, athletic frame and natural star aura impossible to hide. I nervously tugged at the hem of my sundress and whispered, "Is this outfit okay?" Ms. Lawson had warned me several times. Dress like it's a normal day, don't overdo it. Travis's eyes lingered on me for a long moment. Then he said softly, "You look beautiful." I felt a bit embarrassed and lowered my head as I followed Travis to his car. The vehicle sped off toward his apartment, and the whole ride, I sat stiffly, nerves wound tight. By the time we pulled into the underground garage, my anxiety had peaked. I was so tense I couldn't even bring myself to open the door. Travis reached over and gently patted my head. "You're just a guest coming over to my place. Let me take care of the rest," he said. Looking at his handsome face, soft eyes, and perfectly shaped eyebrows, I slowly relaxed. The tension in my brow eased. Once we got out of the car, I leaned against its side, watching as Travis walked to the trunk to retrieve a few grocery bags. Everything had been prepped in advance. To make the candid photos seem more natural, like we were just living out a slice of daily life. Travis walked back toward me, carrying the bags. He paused for a second, then smiled and took off his cap, gently placing it on my head. In that moment, my heart nearly burst out of my chest. Then he reached for my hand and leaned in slightly, whispering, "Don't forget your mask next time, girlfriend." I let him lead me along, brain still fuzzy and slow to process. Wait, had we started already? He was so natural about it. No wonder he was a top actor, he could slip into character in a heartbeat. I silently wondered how any actress could stay calm working with him. And this was just the beginning, yet I already felt like I was falling. We walked hand in hand down the pathway while I completely forgot this was all supposed to be fake. Then, suddenly, Travis stopped. He put the grocery bags down and dropped to one knee in front of me. By the time I realized what was happening, he was already tying my shoelace. I heard it clearly, click click click. The camera shutters going off behind us in the quiet parking garage. Wow, that loose shoelace timing was suspiciously perfect. Once he finished, Travis stood up and gently patted my head again, his eyes curving into a warm smile. "You silly thing. Lucky you didn't trip." I tried to keep a straight face, doing my best to stay composed. Finally, our performance down the paparazzi corridor ended, and we stepped into his apartment. Calling myself a guest was actually accurate. Travis brought the bags into the kitchen and told me he'd cook for me before sending me home. I figured this was part of the script too, build a deeper emotional arc. Leaving right after arriving would feel too cold and fake. I gave a small nod. He started prepping dinner himself. I just stood quietly nearby, watching him move through the kitchen, busy but focused. The kitchen light fell on his face, casting soft shadows. That moment held a kind of quiet magnetism. I looked at him and thought to myself, this is probably a scene I'll never forget. Remembering what my best friend had said earlier, I gathered my courage and asked, "Do you have a girlfriend?" He answered simply, "No." Then after a brief pause, he added, "But there is someone I like." That one line crushed the fragile little spark of hope in my chest. Just like that, gone. In a swirl of mixed emotions, I quietly finished the meal with him. Midway through, Travis excused himself to step out and take a call. When Travis came back inside, he told me something that wasn't exactly good, but not terrible either. There are a few reporters rotating shifts downstairs. You might have to stay here for the night. I understood immediately. If I left now, everything we'd done today would be dissected even more, fuel for a fresh wave of online gossip. And honestly, for a couple supposedly madly in love, spending the night together wasn't exactly scandalous. Still, I hesitated. Sensing my discomfort, Travis spoke softly. "If you're not comfortable, you don't have to stay." I looked directly into his eyes and said firmly, "I'll stay." His house had plenty of guest rooms. I picked one at random. It wasn't much different from my own bedroom back home. But emotionally, I was still a little shaky. I couldn't help but think back, this was the same guy I had secretly admired from afar in high school. And now here he was, in the same house as me, carefully preparing everything down to the smallest detail. Even the indoor slippers were brand new, slightly big, but new. All the toiletries were untouched. "If you need anything, just let me know," he said. Then he paused for a beat, cleared his throat lightly, and added, About pajamas, you'll probably need to tell me what size, so I can have my assistant bring some over." As soon as the words left his mouth, the tips of his ears turned red. Seeing that made me flustered too. Before I could reply, he added quickly, "Or you could just message Lily directly. That might be easier." "Okay," I nodded. After taking a shower, I checked the time, it was still early. The two of us curled up on the massive living room sofa to watch TV. The couch was huge, lying on it felt like stretching out on a bed. Beside us was a floor-to-ceiling glass wall that looked out over the city. The curtains were wide open. I suddenly remembered how many celebrities had been secretly photographed just because they forgot to close their blinds. Instant regret kicked in. Travis hesitated, then nodded thoughtfully. With a soft mechanical hum, the automatic curtain slid shut. The room darkened. The atmosphere turned heavy, just the two of us, alone in the quiet of night. I cleared my throat, trying to break the awkward tension. "Wanna watch a movie?" "Sure." I opened the app and randomly clicked on a popular teen drama. It starred Travis Miller and Emily Harris, a pairing that had once gathered a huge following. On screen, a bright and energetic high school girl worked up the courage to confess to the cold, aloof boy she liked. A kind of courage I had never had. Watching it stung a little. I muttered under my breath, "You two really had great chemistry." "Yeah?" he asked. "Yeah. A lot of people shipped you too," I replied. Suddenly, Travis turned to look at me, his expression serious, but his voice soft. "So, you noticed that, huh?" I flinched and lowered my head, not knowing how to respond. Travis leaned in a little closer. "Jane. You used to like me, didn't you?" I bit my lip, hesitated, and gave a small shake of my head, ashamed, insecure, and too much of a coward to admit it. He frowned slightly, his eyes still locked on mine. Then why did you save my contact name as Babe? Explain that. I pouted. I'm not explaining. But he kept pressing. Hugging the throw pillow tighter, I mumbled. Anyway, that was all in the past. I don't like you anymore. He replied softly, narrowing his eyes. I always thought you had a crush on Daniel Wu back in high school. I blinked, startled. What? 10th grade, he said. I overheard you say you liked Daniel Wu. I immediately waved my hands. No way. That never happened. He leaned back slightly, as if recalling it clearly. You were walking with another girl in the hallway. She asked if you liked me, and you said you liked Daniel Wu instead. And just like that, everything came rushing back. That girl was Tori Henderson, pretty, confident, from a well-off family. She once declared she'd win over Travis Miller for sure. That afternoon after class, she cornered me and asked me point blank. Do you like Travis? And right then, Travis happened to walk by. Panicking, I denied it. No. I like Daniel Wu. As soon as the words left my mouth, it felt like my heart shattered. I hated myself for being that timid. Travis looked at me and asked gently. So, you didn't actually like Daniel Wu, did you? I stayed silent. I had no idea how to answer. He went on, eyes locked on mine. You and Daniel ending up at the same university, that was just a coincidence, right? I looked at him and gave a small nod. But then something clicked in my head. Wait, how did he know Daniel and I went to the same university? I was genuinely surprised. Other than my close friends, no one really knew where I went for grad school. Besides, me going to the same school as Daniel Wu? Even I didn't care much about that fact. Travis suddenly fell quiet. He straightened his back, eyes steady, as if he had made up his mind. Then he began, voice low and serious. Jane, actually, ever since high SCH. Before he could finish, a sudden ringtone cut through the air, slicing his words in half. I glanced at the screen. Daniel Wu. Travis's expression darkened ever so slightly. Sorry. I should take this, I said quietly. Feeling flustered, I stood and answered the call. Travis didn't look away, his gaze lingered on me, unreadable, almost uncomfortable. Jane, were you hacked? Daniel's voice came through, sounding concerned. Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. He paused for a few seconds, then asked again. Are you really okay? That thing with Travis Miller, him going public about you too, it's fake, right? Then he kept talking, going on and on with a string of explanations. But I didn't hear a single word. My mind was already somewhere else, drained, distracted, and emotionally exhausted. It felt like the man standing in front of me had pulled all my thoughts away. Right then, I just wanted to hang up. Just then, Travis Miller suddenly leaned in closer. Before I could react, he took the phone straight from my hand. His expression was cold. His voice, even colder. This is Travis Miller, he said flatly into the phone. Please don't call my girlfriend at this hour again. Before the person on the other end could respond, he hung up. I stood there frozen, eyes wide like a deer in headlights, staring at him in disbelief. He looked at me, brows drawn slightly, his voice low but firm. Don't talk to him anymore, Jane. Why? I asked, the words slipping out instinctively. He held my gaze, his voice steady, serious, but soft. Because I'll get jealous. I like you. My eyes widened even more, almost to the point of falling out. Travis looked right at me, and continued slowly. Even before you said you liked Daniel Wu. I already liked you. Seeing me still frozen in shock, he let out a helpless little laugh. His eyes curved gently with warmth and sincerity. That 27-foot contact name, he added, even my fans figured it out. Suddenly, a comment I read days ago flashed through my mind. 27 equals love you forever. They weren't wrong. Travis looked into my eyes, voice soft. That's exactly what it meant, love you. Then, with a slightly embarrassed tone, he explained. Back then, when you said you liked Daniel Wu, I was afraid if I saved your name with something too obvious, you'd hate me for it. So I kept it vague, just in case. I stared at him, curious. Then, what about on WeChat? What's my remark name there? His face turned a little red. Without a word, he picked up his phone and showed me the screen. There it was, clear as day. 10. It's been 10 years since I started liking you, he said quietly. But then he added. And there's one more meaning. I looked up, eyes shining. What else? Tell me. He cleared his throat again, clearly flustered. Tried to look away. Let's talk about something else. Like Daniel. He likes you, doesn't he? I shook my head quickly. No. Definitely not. His expression shifted, tone turning serious. Don't say yes to anything he asks, okay? You already saved me in your phone as babe after all. He looked at me directly, calm but unwavering. Can I pursue you, Jane? I don't want you to keep pretending you don't matter to me. Something in my chest twisted, bittersweet and overwhelming. I wanted to cry. And I did. Tears rolled down my cheeks, one after another. It hurt, knowing how timid I'd been back then. How I'd made the wrong choice out of fear. I wanted to tell Travis Miller, right then and there. I've always liked you. But the words caught in my throat. I couldn't get them out. And yet. He seemed to see right through me. Through my shell. Through my silence. Through every layer of me. Straight to the fragile truth I'd tried so hard to hide. He gently pulled me into his arms, his warm hands softly stroking my head as his voice whispered with tender comfort. It's okay, Jane. It's okay even if you don't like me. Whatever you feel. I'll accept it. In that moment, I hated myself. I hated how cowardly I had been. For not having the courage to speak the truth back then. And now, the distance between me and Travis Miller only felt greater. He was like a star shining high in the sky. And I had never believed I was worthy enough to be his moon. So I just stayed in his arms and cried for a long time. A mix of heartbreak and a strange unwillingness to let the sadness go. When I finally began to calm down, Travis stood up and poured me a glass of water. I looked at him, this feeling of happiness was so real, so present, I couldn't hold it in. I whispered. Travis. I really like you. My voice was soft, but he heard every word loud and clear. This time, he was the one frozen in place. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. Since 10th grade. I've liked you. And Daniel Wu? That wasn't real. There were so many girls who liked you back then, Travis. Liking someone is reckless. Loving someone takes restraint. And for an ordinary girl like me, someone who wasn't special at all, liking someone as brilliant as you, was already the biggest act of recklessness. I watched you succeed, step by step. You kept getting brighter. And the brighter you got, the more distant you became. Travis stood still, staring at me, those deep eyes of his suddenly glimmering with joy. There was a silly, stunned look on his face I had never seen before. After a long pause, he chuckled softly. I knew it. I knew your eyes couldn't be that bad. How could anyone like Daniel Wu when I was standing right there? We leaned into each other on the sofa, finally letting out all the years of unspoken feelings. I couldn't help but conclude. Honestly, we should thank that hacker. If not for them, maybe we'd still be missing each other. Travis suddenly went quiet, fidgeting like he had something to confess. So, the thing is. Seeing how flustered and awkward he looked, I suddenly had a wild thought. No way. Did he hire the hacker himself? I asked him directly. Travis didn't even have time to dodge the question. He let out a little thud as he slid dramatically to the floor. Definitely not the romantic proposal type. Okay. I'm sorry, he laughed sheepishly. I didn't hire the hacker, but the whole fake dating plan? That part was definitely intentional. His eyes shimmered like he was about to cry, so pitiful it made my heart ache. I quickly pulled him up. Hey, next week's our high school reunion. You coming? Travis grinned mischievously, his eyes twinkling with mischief. Your Majesty, would you do me the honor of letting this humble servant be your date? Then he bowed seriously, hands together, head lowered low in front of me. I was stunned for a moment, then nodded, shy, but smiling. Who would have thought? Travis Miller, top-tier star of the entertainment industry, was such a childish dork in real life. I had no idea what kind of polishing the showbiz world had put him through, but none of it had taken away his goofiness. The next afternoon, I finally left Travis's house. And despite what the media thought, we really didn't do anything. We just stayed up talking way too long, unwilling to part. And ended up going to bed super late. After sleeping in and eating lunch, it was already late in the day. Travis insisted on driving me home himself. Again, nothing happened. But that didn't stop the entertainment media from unleashing chaos on Twitter all over again. Overnight stay at Travis's villa. Wearing different clothes. Suspicious red marks on her neck. Every detail was exaggerated to the max. And online, everyone had already come to the conclusion that we were basically married. I looked in the mirror at the little red bite mark on my neck and wanted to light a candle for myself. Shouldn't have scratched it so hard last night. My best friend, naturally, was blowing up my phone. Declaring that she'd take down 99% of the nosy netizens and be first in line to enjoy the juicy gossip herself. When I told her the full story from beginning to end, she screamed so loud it shook my eardrums. And honestly, thinking about it, even I felt like everything that had happened was too surreal to be true. But somehow, Travis and I had ended up together. Just like that. Then came the day of our high school reunion. Rumors had already been circulating that Travis Miller would show up, and as soon as that spread, RSVP skyrocketed. The venue changed from a modest private room at a restaurant to an entire upscale resort. That day, the sun was shining bright. I sat in the passenger seat next to Travis, my nerves in full chaos as we got closer and closer to facing our old classmates. He glanced at me and chuckled. You were nervous pretending to be my girlfriend, and you're still nervous being my actual girlfriend? Wifey. I pressed my lips together, mumbling. They're probably going to wonder why someone like you would like someone like me. Travis turned his head to look at me, gaze steady and sincere. So what? I wanted to be with you 10 years ago, Jane. I fell silent. Then he gently reached over and placed his hand over mine, his warmth completely wrapping around me. Jane, you are the most amazing woman I know. His voice was firm but tender. And somehow, it calmed the storm in my heart. There was no more room for doubt. Unsurprisingly, Travis was the absolute center of attention at the reunion. Every gaze followed him, and by extension, followed me. In those stares were curiosity, awe, surprise, and admiration. But not once did I sense the judgment or disdain I had feared. It was as if we really did belong together. I held Travis's hand and stood by his side, accepting everyone's congratulations. And little by little, I felt myself beginning to relax. Because we had to keep clinking glasses with so many people, I gently slipped my hand out of Travis's, tugged lightly on his suit sleeve, and whispered, I need to use the restroom. He paused for a second, then smiled softly. I'll go with you. When I stepped out a few minutes later, I saw him waiting outside, leaning casually against the wall, his side profile sharp and perfect. Looking at him, I couldn't believe it. Someone like him was actually mine. Travis turned toward me. Then he reached out, held my hand gently, and said, "Jane, let's walk the rest of this road together." Suddenly, click, the lights in the hallway and banquet hall dimmed. Still holding my hand, Travis led me through a hallway lined with sunflowers on both sides, petals glowing under soft, romantic lighting. As we neared the main ballroom, he leaned in close to my ear and whispered, "Jane, the confession I couldn't make 10 years ago, can I say it now?" He guided me to the center of the hall. That's when I noticed, every one of our classmates was holding a single rose in their hand. I looked around, every gaze was warm, shimmering with blessings and quiet excitement. And in that moment, Travis Miller suddenly dropped to one knee before me. He looked up at me, his eyes so tender, they could melt anyone's heart. "Jane, let's not miss each other again. Will you be my girlfriend?" I blinked back tears, smiling through the emotion. "I don't want to miss you either, Travis." As he stood up and kissed me, surrounded by applause and congratulations, he leaned close again and whispered, "That 10 had one more meaning. It meant, I want you." And just like that, beneath a sky full of blessings, we began the next 10 years of our lives, together.